Why do some older men choose to live alone, even when they could pursue relationships, family life, or constant social connection? To some people, it looks lonely, maybe even sad. But psychology suggests something far more nuanced. Because living alone does not automatically mean emotional isolation. For some people, it reflects independence. For others, recovery, protection, preference, or simply peace. And for many men who grew up in generations where emotional self-reliance was strongly valued, solitude can feel psychologically familiar. Not because they dislike people, but because the way they learned to manage life was often internal. So today, let's explore the psychology behind why some older men choose to live alone. And before we begin, if you enjoy emotional psychology, human behavior, and self-awareness content, like this video. Comment your perspective below and subscribe to Inner Patterns so you never miss future psychology insights. Stay until the end, because the final reason explains what people misunderstand most. Point 1. Some were conditioned to handle life internally. Many men from older generations were raised during cultural periods where emotional restraint, self-reliance, and handling things yourself were strongly reinforced. Messages like, "Be strong, don't complain, deal with it," were common in many environments. Psychology calls this social conditioning. Over time, emotional self-containment can become habitual, not because vulnerability is impossible, but because independence became the safest familiar pattern. And after decades, living alone may not feel emotionally threatening. It may simply feel normal. Point 2. Solitude and loneliness are not the same thing. This is where many people get it wrong. Being alone does not automatically mean being lonely. Psychology clearly distinguishes between loneliness, which is unwanted emotional disconnection, and solitude, which is chosen time alone. For some older men, solitude feels peaceful, predictable, emotionally manageable, especially after years of relationship stress, caregiving demands, workplace pressure, or emotionally exhausting life experiences. Sometimes silence is not emptiness. Sometimes silence is recovery. Point 3. Autonomy becomes extremely important. Psychology shows autonomy is a core human need. That means having control over your time, your decisions, your environment, your routines. For some men, especially after decades of responsibilities and obligations, protecting autonomy becomes deeply valuable. Their own schedule, their own quiet, their own choices. This doesn't necessarily mean they reject closeness. It may simply mean freedom feels psychologically restorative. Point 4. Social priorities often change with age. As people grow older, their social priorities often shift. Psychological research suggests many adults become more selective with relationships over time. Less tolerance for emotional chaos. More focus on meaningful interaction, less interest in superficial connection. This means some older men may genuinely prefer fewer relationships, but better ones. Not because they've become disconnected, but because emotional energy feels more valuable. And where younger people may seek stimulation, older adults often prioritize emotional calm. Point 5. Some still want connection, just differently. This may be the most misunderstood point. Living alone does not mean someone has emotionally given up. Some men living alone still maintain friendships, community ties, family bonds, meaningful conversations. They may simply prefer lower frequency but higher quality connection. Psychology shows people vary significantly in social needs. Some recharge socially, others recharge privately. Neither is automatically unhealthy. What matters is whether the lifestyle aligns with emotional well-being. There is no single psychology behind older men who live alone. For some, it reflects independence. For others, healing, preference, habit, emotional protection, or peace. And maybe the deeper truth is this: sometimes what looks lonely from the outside feels emotionally balanced from the inside. If this perspective changed how you see things, comment, "Peace looks different for everyone." and subscribe to Inner Patterns for more emotional psychology and human behavior videos. And now that you've explored this pattern, watch our next video, 6 Weird Habits That Prove You Have an Extremely High IQ. Because the behaviors people misunderstand most often reveal the deepest psychology.